York City Mayor Eric Adams, once again in the hot seat, this time on The View. Adams visited The View on Friday, and this is what he had to say about President-elect Donald Trump. Let's watch.
Key members of his last administration called him a fascist, but you've defended him. Can you explain?
No, I defended the rhetoric that we're using across our country and what our children are listening to and what we're doing. We've reached a point in this country where we no longer want to engage in conversation. They were even calling him Hitler. That's an insult.
That was only his vice president.
That was an insult. That was an insult to the millions of Jews and others who died. We know what Hitler did. And what I said to our country, when I'm on the streets talking to my young people who are protesting on college campuses, wearing Hamas signs and calling for the destructions of groups, I said, we have to bring down this rhetoric. We have to start engaging in conversation. You know, Obama said it right, and I agree. This is not the divided state. This is the United States. We're the greatest country on the globe, and people are watching us and name calling.
But do you think Trump should have brought down the rhetoric? Because
everybody should.
Well, let's start at the top then, because maybe it trickles down.
Adams also gave his take on the election results and why the United States is moving towards the right.
I was calling for the dismantling of hate in our country. Our Sikhs who are being attacked, LGBTQ members are being attacked, African Americans, Jews. I say let's dismantle the hate. And what you saw in this city, in this election, where you saw a shift and the city becoming, and the state becoming redder, is because we stopped talking about working class people issues. When mom and pops are afraid, I can't pay my college tuition. The rent is too damn high. Healthcare is too expensive. We stopped talking to everyday New Yorkers and Americans. When I'm in the street talking to them, they're not asking me, Eric, tell me about fascism. They're talking about finance. They're not talking about Hitler. They're talking about housing. We need to talk to everyday working class people. And we stopped doing that. And those are the issues that they are afraid of. They're afraid of the future of their children.
I mean, Eric Adams happens to be saying a lot of things I agree with, or I agree with the tone in which they're being said, that it would be better if we're a little bit more civil, that Democratic complaints about Trump that liken him to Adolf Hitler and to fascism are not working and are exaggerating, and they don't even believe them, or Biden doesn't even believe them, because he turned around and congratulated Donald Trump for winning and shook his hand, and you know, you don't do this with Hitler, etc. But So I think it's good and helpful to point those things out, especially in an environment like The View, where it's a message Joy Behar really does need to hear and internalize. That said, and I guess I don't care if it's nakedly opportunistic, but Eric Adams is clearly, to my mind, trying to associate himself with the right in hopes he gets some kind of favor. He can be raptured into the, I'm being persecuted just like Trump and Republicans, save me, help me. I think that's what he wants to happen to him, and I think Republicans ought to resist that, because he's not being persecuted because he's too based in MAGA. He's being persecuted for serious ethical lapses and financial improprieties.
Right. What would have given him more credibility on The View in making this comment about we got to have more civil conversations, turn down the rhetoric, is to more forcefully point out some of the heated rhetoric that Donald Trump and other MAGA figures have been promoting over the last few years, talking about how the other side, if they win, there will never be another election. And so he's right that it is across the board an issue, but for him to have more credibility in that space, if I were in his shoes, I would have more forcefully pointed out some of that heated rhetoric on the right and not just on the left, because in the absence of doing that, you open yourself up to the criticism that you're now highlighting, which is he's trying to ingratiate himself with people in the Trump world and with Donald Trump himself, because he's in a serious corruption scandal, and hey, he might want what Hunter Biden just got, which is a pardon in the future. And you know, I think the Trump world might actually love to have someone like Eric Adams in their orbit, and maybe he gets a cabinet position in the future. So that's part of the broader strategy that's going on right now. But the underlying issue that Eric Adams is speaking to about the rhetoric, the need for us to be able to see each other and for the Democratic Party to reconnect with the working class, it's all true, but he's an imperfect messenger.
Yeah, and I don't know that he really has solutions or ideas for how to fix it. You know, he's the mayor of New York, if he wants to preside over an administration that is more in line or more favorably disposed to the kind of policies that Donald Trump is proposing or the Republicans are winning on, is he really even doing an effective job of that? I mean, he has power to over crime, to policing, immigration, the economic situation in New York. He can have policies that speak to all those things. I don't see Republicans, out there saying, "Oh yeah, he's doing a really good job on all these things." It's more he's talking the talk now suddenly, but it's not the policies have not been any different as far as I can tell. Maybe I haven't looked at them closely enough.
He's suddenly pushing himself into a corner, and The View is helping him with this by framing Eric Adams as a defender of Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Now, did he go on to that View stage with the intention of being called that? I don't know. But The View hosts and Joy Behar are definitely helping him claim that mantle. And now, is he going to continue to claim it and embrace it? That will be interesting.
He's going to Rod Blagojevich himself, right?
Yeah.
That's what he's trying to do. I mean, and he's not been convicted of anything yet, and who knows if he will be. But he wants to associate himself with the persecutions that Trump supporters believe Trump has suffered, so that he can go, "Oh yeah, they're doing to me just what they did to you, buddy." Get that pardon, as Rod Blagojevich, the former governor of Illinois, who was accused of promising a Senate seat or financial corruption having to do with the replacement for Barack Obama's Senate seat, and he got convicted and he went to prison for a number of years and was pardoned by Donald Trump.
Right.
And now is an ardent MAGA loyalist.
He is.
As the cable news people like to say. Loyalists. Oh no, not that.
Well, I think the other question to be asking here is, why is The View inviting Eric Adams on as a guest in the first place?
Well, I'd invite him on if I was booking for The View. I'm not sure why he would want to come on. Did they ask him about the crimes? Is that a nature of... I don't know. Maybe they did. We just played 2 minutes of it. I don't know what was discussed.
But I think The View has an agenda here as well, which is to try and link Eric Adams to Trump and to discredit people who are, by the way, African American, and saying things about having conversations across this divide in America and potentially painting them in a more extreme light. And so I don't know. I do feel like there's some kind of agenda going on here with The View. And, at the end of the day, the message he's saying needs to be heard, especially on that stage. But why make Eric Adams the deliverer of that message? There's so many more people I could point to who would be a better conveyor of that message.
Yes, indeed. All right, more to come on Rising today. Stay with us.